Hey guys, Chris Abbott here with another episode of Change Your Story podcast. And today I'm going to be continuing on. We're almost getting through this book that I've been walking you through, U2 by Price Pritchett. It's a book on metaphysics, and it is a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness in quantum leaps. So it's just getting beyond where you currently are and taking your business and your life to the next level. So let's jump right in on this one. This chapter is called Get Uncomfortable. Okay, I like it already. You know, getting uncomfortable is the meaning of life for me. I sometimes joke and call my 40s my lost decade because I really got into a comfort zone, and I don't have regrets about it, but I did recognize I had created a really nice nest for myself. Can you relate to that? I knew that if I did ABC in my business, I would get XYZ in terms of income, and I got very comfortable with my business. I got very comfortable with my lifestyle, and I got very comfortable with my routine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what that does is it stops you from growing, and it stops you from stretching. And that's okay if that's what you want. But when I started realizing, wow, I've let myself get a little too comfortable, I realized that it was time to ramp things up again. I like the passion of pursuit. I really love doing something that I enjoy, and I love challenging myself, and I like taking risks, not crazy risks, but calculated risks, because I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. I'm a very impatient person. I like to work with a sense of urgency, and I have to remind myself sometimes that when I do start a new goal or a new venture, it takes a little bit of time. There's something called the law of gestation, which I've mentioned previously, which is, for example, if you want a child, you're going to wait 9 months. More or less, that's how long it takes for a child. Just like with your business and with anything else, it's going to be different for everybody on these types of things, for example. However, just understand that when you start something new, your learning curve may be very quick, or it may be very prolonged and protracted. It just depends, and everybody's different. You might get frustrated because you start a new job or a new business and somebody else is skyrocketing right away. And it just could be a whole bunch of factors that influence that increase that they see right off the bat. And if you stick with it and you start learning, you're going to get there too. Okay, so getting uncomfortable is a good thing. And what Price Pritchett has to say about it is that quantum leaps jerk you out of your comfort zone. So obviously, the more you grow and the more you stretch, when you start something, you get into these chaotic areas in your life. Like you think, oh, why did I do this? I was so comfortable. Why did I take this on? Why did I take that new job? Now my responsibilities have shifted. I've got to learn new things. I require a lot more energy and effort to, make sure that I'm competent in my job or my role or my business, or that I'm growing it or learning. And a lot of people find that very uncomfortable and they don't like it. But if you learn to find joy in that, then you will keep growing. So he says, prepare yourself for a pretty wild ride. You're going to cover some unfamiliar terrain and encounter obstacles you've never faced before. That's true. And it could feel like the safety chain linking you with behavior patterns that worked in the past is being stretched to the limit. So again, I love that. Your safety chain linking you. So when you are good and proficient at something, and you're consciously and unconsciously competent at something, you don't even realize how good you've become based on all of your experience and your different experiences you've had that have allowed you to become really good at what you do. And he's saying once you start going beyond that, then you feel that stretch, those growing pains, if you will. So at times you may wonder if the situation is about to spin out of control. I can relate to that right now. I'm stretching out. I'm looking into the United States for real estate investing. I'm growing my power team down there. It's a different set of rules, the financing, the tenant rules, the corporate structure, evaluating properties, learning new cities and what the upsides to properties are, the good areas, the bad areas. There's a lot. So that kind of stretches me, and sometimes it's like, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into? But at the end of the day, I chose this, and that's what I remind myself. This is my choice, and that's what I've opted to do. So I've got to revel in that and enjoy it, and I hope you do too. At times you may wonder if the situation is about to spin out of control, and uneasiness is a predictable psychological reaction when a quantum leap is underway. Sure. Have you ever done something where you venture out a little bit and you think, oh my God, I want to go back. No, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. And then all hell breaks loose in your mind and you're thinking, why did I do this? Oh my God, everything was perfect the way it was. You've let go of, your comfort and your safety. And now you're stretched and you're exposed. And it's like, wow, now I risk failure. I risk embarrassment. I risk loss. But I also stand to have massive gains and rewards. So which side of the equation do you focus on? The normal reaction is to want to hold on tightly, but you're going to have to learn to let go. U2 is achieved through release. So, you know what? Just jump in, find your wings on the way down. I've done that a lot of times. So, turn loose if you want to jump. Don't be surprised if you grow uneasy. That's a predictable part of the process. When you take the quantum leap, you ride the situation, but you don't really control it all that much. In fact, the only way you control it is by 1, knowing where you're going, 2, continuing the pursuit, and 3, learning from your mistakes, right? That's the formula. It's pretty simple, but it's terrifying. But again, no risk, no reward. So ask yourself, what is it you truly want? Ask yourself, hey, if I don't do this, what am I risking in terms of regret? That's how I measure most things in my life these days. I look at it and I think, if I don't pursue this and it's something I truly want to do, when I'm 80, 85, 90, sitting in my rocking chair, I don't have the energy or the drive I have now, what will my thoughts be? Will I be regretting my decisions? Probably. So that's why I just say go for it. What have you got to lose, right? A quantum leap is an act of faith, exhilarating, and possibly scary at the same time. You have to give up a large degree of security and safety, plow through greater amounts of ambiguity and confusion and uncertainty, wrestle with a totally new set of problems, invite failure, and possibly contend with criticism from other people who have been part of your support group in the past. So like they always say, whenever you endeavor to do something new, or you tell people what you're going to do, it's typically your support circle, your loved ones, family members, your spouse, your best friend, your colleagues at work. Why are you doing this, Chris? Why are you going for, are you crazy? What makes you think you can do that? Why would you want to do that? I can guarantee you one thing. If you ask 10 people their opinion on the matter, you're going to get 10 different answers, and that's what's going to happen. So anticipate that. It's going to happen. So that's why sometimes they say it's better to grind in silence, or just go about your business in silence and show them, don't tell them, right? Show, don't tell. Go out there, create it, and then come back to them. And then they'll have a lot of questions. How did you do this? When did this happen? So I'll leave that decision to you. I'm also a believer, however, in putting your intentions out into the universe, because that will draw the necessary people, resources, and things that you need to advance in your career, in your life. When you let other people know, you're getting on a different frequency, and things get drawn to you. It's been proven to me repeatedly. So I also believe in that. So go with what is most comfortable for you, obviously. If you're experiencing no anxiety or discomfort, the risk you're taking probably isn't worthy of you. And the only risks that aren't a little scary are the ones you've outgrown. A high comfort level provides solid evidence that you're playing it safe. You're not growing. You're not really testing your limits at all, and not in the process of a quantum leap. You might be making gradual progress. That's possible, but you're not going for a breakthrough. And again, this book is all about going for it, really going for it, breaking through your current levels, getting to a new one, and outgrowing your current self to get to U2, like fulfilling your potential, stretching and growing as a person, right? So he's basically saying, sure, if you plot along the course you're going, he's talking about incremental gains. We're not having these conversations, you and I, about incremental gains. We're talking about massive gains, quantum leaps. Like, holy crap, what happened? How did you do this? When did this happen? Those are the types of responses you want from others, because you have totally gone for it. And you've created an entirely different paradigm, entirely different model, and an entirely different life, right? If you want a big life, you got to have big goals. And U2 carries you beyond your commonplace everyday habits and calls for a little more nerve. So just go into this expecting a touch of anxiety. Uneasiness is a predictable psychological reaction when a quantum leap is underway. Check, check, check. Like I said, for those who know me, I've gone from law enforcement, to back to university as a mature student for my business degree. Then I left that and I got into corporate sales, did phenomenally well there, was on an upward trajectory. And at the same time, I was doing student real estate investments, and I decided, hey, you know what, this is really good. I love this. And I ended up just leaving my corporate sales career, and I wanted to be my own boss, and I wanted to see what I could do. And that led me to a 20-year venture that just, changed my life entirely. And most recently, after having gone through battling with cancer for 4 years, doing that very quietly, by the way. I'm only really just talking about it now. It's something I put in the rearview mirror. I don't think about it. I don't dwell on it. I don't want to use it as some kind of crutch. But I think it's one of those things to share because it was a part of my story, but it also got me to where I am currently. And between that and the COVID crazy and losing my sister to cancer at 56, she would have been 60 now. And I'm going to be 54 this year. I tell you guys, when you get those wake-up calls in life, they really shatter you. They shake you to the core. And there are only two ways that people change. Okay, I've said them before. I'm going to repeat them again for those of you who are listening to the first time. 2 ways we change. Okay, the first isn't so desirable. It's not a pleasant thing. The first way is through an extreme emotional impact. Okay, death, divorce, loss of business, marital breakdowns, something to do with your kids, a health scare or crisis, something that just smacks you in the side of the head, out of left field, rocks your world, brings you to your knees, okay? That will shift your thinking. That will wake you up from your comfort zone. The only other way, guys, is through the tried and true method, which is through repetition. So just like you learn to walk and talk and ride a bike, drive a car, learn a new language, learn a new skill, you had to do it repeatedly and consistently until you gained some form of competency, until you achieve mastery. And some people don't even get to mastery because they stop investing their time and energy into things. So, if you're looking for that breakthrough, you're going to go through these really uncomfortable psychological moments. There's no question. Okay, that's part of the reason why only 97% of people kind of remain stuck. And I would say that the top 3% are people who are constantly looking for ways to grow and stretch and reach. And by the way, that doesn't mean you're going to become the next Elon Musk or something like that. But what it does mean is that you're going to become a better version of yourself than you were yesterday or the year before. We don't want our years of our life to be like this. I mean, sure, you can do that. That's kind of like that analogy of driving a car safely, right? And then at the end of your life, it's kind of that car is in almost pristine condition. We want to drive that car. We want to enjoy it. We want to have super fast periods. We want to have slow cruising periods. We want to have, periods where we're at rest. But yes, at the end of the day, bang, you want to go all in, guys. Okay, there's no other way. And lastly, it has been said that if you will do the thing you fear, death of fear is certain. Courage is not the absence of fear or anxiety. It's proceeding in spite of those feelings. So press on. All right? Like I say, one of my favorite sayings is, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Man, I've said this time and time again. Every single time I've come up against a wall of fear in my life, I just put my head down and I blow right through it. And do I always go through on the first attempt? No. Oftentimes I'm bloodied and bruised and I have to just keep pounding and pounding and pounding. And some things happen pretty quickly and other things really test my perseverance and my desire, because those are the really big ones that will challenge you to your core and really have you wondering, with a gut check, do I want this? That's the gut check, right? Do I really truly want this? And if you really truly do, guess what? You will make it happen, okay? So listen to this one again, because your comfort zone is killing you. Your status quo is killing you. Your predictability is killing you, okay? What a boring life. The same routine. And okay, maybe you like it. I don't know, probably not if you're listening to this. I don't. I do not love the idea of the sameness, of living the same routines and behaviors and habits and rituals over and over and over. I have some key rituals in my life, sure. But every year I want to do something cool. I want to do something super epic. I want to look back and go, holy crap, look how far I have come in the last 5 years. Like Tony Robbins always says, we always overestimate what we can do, in a decade, but we don't realize what we can do in a year. That's the way I look at it. Every year you can really stack up the wins, and then in a decade you'll be like, oh my God, I've come so far. Think about yourself 10 years ago. Are you the same person? Are you wearing the same clothes, the same hairstyle, the same circle of friends, the same routines, the same habits? Okay, maybe you like that. I'm not here to judge. It's not for me to say. But if you truly want to grow and you truly want a deep, well, if you will, of experiences and stories and just life moments, guess what? Go for it. That's the only way there is to it. And that means just growing and changing. I've told my son recently, some people are in your life for a chapter and some are in there for a lifetime. Choose your tribe. Choose wisely. You become very similar to the 5 people you spend most of your time with. You all talk the same. You have similar routines, rituals, habits. And that's okay. But eagles don't soar with turkeys. So if you want to fly high and you want to get better, seek out people who are doing what you want to do. And don't get jealous. Get curious. Pick their brain. Invite them for lunch. Become friends with them. Because guess what? You probably have a lot in common. You just haven't reached. You may be exactly like them, except they've started a little bit earlier than you, and they've had the opportunity to get to where you actually want to go. But you'll get there. Okay, so bear that in mind and stretch yourself, guys. Get out of your bloody comfort zone. Live the life you were meant to live. Become the fullest version of yourself, you squared. You're 2.0, whatever that looks like. You decide, you design it, you create it. Change your story. Reach out to me if you want to have a free 30-minute strategy session. I'd love to learn about where you're at. I'll meet you at your level. We'll pick it up from where you're currently at. We can discuss your frustrations, your obstacles. Probably largely, if you realize that most of them are mental. And I don't mean that like there's something wrong with you. I mean that like your programming, your conditioning has virus code in it. Your current level of thinking has gotten you to where you are, but you need to change your thinking. So together, we can look at that. I've got a phenomenal program developed and designed by Bob Proctor. He's got over 60 years invested in that field of study. He is one of the fathers of personal development and personal performance. So let's have a great conversation, guys, okay? Make it count, change your story. I look forward to talking with you in the next one. Cheers, guys.